No, oh, I think we're doing it right. I think it's working on it.
Yeah, it says
so
it
I'll
is.
just do a bit of a intro and then we'll get on. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay, but okay. Can I see? So hopefully we are live on Facebook. If not, I'll just repeat this bit again. Who knows? Welcome. In fact, I'm going to hit record before we do that as well. Let's do that. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Tuesday Live. I hope everybody's well and having a great week so far. I am super excited to be joined with the beautiful Hayley Dorian. And she's going to be talking to us about the power of breathwork. So I will let Hayley introduce herself, and we're just going to have a bit of a chat about the power of breath and some of the benefits of breathing. So thank you, Hayley, so much for joining me on my Tuesday Live.
Thanks for having me here, and good to be here. First time ever doing Facebook Live, so the breathing techniques have come in handy to give us the courage to do it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Pushing us right out the comfort zone, Christina.
It's what it's all about, isn't it? Right? Just like feeling the fear and doing it anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, and like for those who are watching, I attend Hayley's breathwork workshop that she does every Saturday, and you've been doing that throughout lockdown, haven't you?
Yeah, that was another real big challenge to do anything like that, because I had wanted to do videos and like YouTube stuff for a while, but just didn't have the guts to do it. And then it was like no option really if I wanted to continue sharing the breathing. Yeah. But it's just been really beneficial, even through Zoom, even with all of its problems that Zoom has, the technology. It's been really good.
Yeah, because you've just made it work. And I know whenever I attend your breathwork classes on a Saturday morning, what I love is, you know, towards the end where you have people kind of saying thank you and bye, and you can kind of see everybody you know, logging on and coming off again. And it's just, yeah, it's a real sense of community.
Yeah, it's just really nice because it's being able to reach people, you know, from who couldn't normally access the classes in person. So I've been like asked to continue them even after lockdown, just for people who live out, well, wherever, you know, there's people connecting from all over the world.
Truly global.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I'm keeping an eye on Facebook so we can see, oh, Carol's joined us. Hello, Carol. Thank you for joining. So I'd love it for anybody else who's watching. This is going to be a bit interactive as well. Feel free to ask us any questions. Hayley and I actually just recorded a podcast. Hayley very kindly came on and spoke, and that's going to get released next week. And yeah, I just thought it would be really fantastic if we kind of unveiled more about the power of the breath, right? Because I know when we spoke last week, Hayley, we were talking that most people, and I know I was one of them, that said, what do you mean? Like, I breathe all the time.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
But it's powerful, isn't it? It's a powerful thing to do.
Yeah, and it's just so often overlooked. People, you know, try to change everything else in their lives to try and make their lives healthier, and very rarely do they look to changing how they breathe. Which is probably the place to start.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, because I think the other part about it is we always have it with us and it's free.
Yep, exactly.
It's like, it's a no-brainer when you put it like that.
Yep.
No, so, I love that. Yeah. So I was just going to start off, maybe be a good place to start with a little bit about yourself, Hayley, and how you found and went into breathwork. If you can share a little bit about your journey, as it were.
Yeah, so I first got into breathwork when I developed, I had pneumonia quite a few years ago, and pleurisy. And so following that, I was told, like, by the doctors that my lungs would always, they wouldn't be healthy as they were again. I'd always have problems with chest infections and what have you. And so just being told that they'll never improve, I wanted to do something. I lived with that for quite a few years before, you just accept it as true. So it wasn't until quite a few years later that I thought I need to try and like do something about it, because I could feel it if I was to run or anything. I was out of breath. And I did develop like chest infections all the time. So I was like looking into trying yoga, and couldn't get away with it. It was just too still. I was too much in my mind with it. And then I came across a book by Russell Brand where he mentioned Kundalini yoga. So I'd with him saying, I think I've mentioned this to you before, how he says it's like the crack cocaine of yogas.
Yeah, which is quite accurate, really.
I know it is. It blows your mind away a bit. So it really resonated with us, because it was a lot more dynamic movement than other types of yoga, and it incorporated the breath, lots of breath work in it. So even after just like one session, I was like really blown away with how powerful it was. So I went down the route of wanting to know more, but never ever wanted to teach it. And I think most yoga instructors say that, they just want to learn more about the philosophies and stuff and don't really want to teach it. But you're led down that path for a reason, and obviously I ended up teaching it. And part of it on my training, you have to do cold showers with it as well. So that's part of the regime, the daily regime. You have to get up really early, take freezing cold showers. And that was something I've always done since I was little. I've always loved the cold water, just the buzz it gave us. And so that was one of the easiest parts of the training. It probably is a part what most people thought was the most difficult. So yeah, I've done that, and obviously we'll get to the cold water a bit later on. So I was starting to see some like real improvements with my breath by doing the Kundalini yoga. And then as I say, as with the cold water, I'd be going in the sea quite often, just for a few minutes at a time. And then I found a swim group, and one of the members there asked if I'd heard of the Wim Hof method, which I hadn't. And I'd heard of the Iceman, but not the Wim Hof method. So I went home, looked into it, and it was all about breath work, all about cold exposure, which was just perfect, because they were the two things what I absolutely loved and was finding benefits from doing. And so just before this, I'd also been diagnosed, it was about 3 years ago actually, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. And when I was starting to discover and read into the Wim Hof method, it was a load of success stories from people with autoimmune disorders. So that was another no-brainer. I was just like straight in there doing the online training. Then went away to the Netherlands, trained with Wim, and then completed the training last October, where I became a Wim Hof method instructor. And just everything that's happened since then, with just by using the breathing techniques and using the cold exposure, which obviously I'd said I'd done for years, but didn't know how many benefits there were behind it. So just doing these two, it's just brought so much, well, it's just been so beneficial to my life and to those who have learned how to do the method as well.
Yeah, I love that, Hayley, so much, because it's exactly as you say. It's almost the quest started because you were naturally intrigued by it. And then isn't it funny how the two methods have combined with the Kundalini and the fact that it was the cold water exposure, and you're like, well, I'm already doing that. So
yeah, it was just,
it's almost like it's kind of meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, amazing. Because I know obviously we've touched on obviously I met, well, I think I first met you at the Wellness Space yoga festival, because you were doing a gong bath, which was amazing at the end. Because that's this like Hayley is multi-talented. She also does amazing, plays gongs, and then there's singing bowls you have as well, don't you?
Yeah, ice baths, gong baths, any bath.
Any bath, she's there. But that's interesting too, right? Because obviously, as for me, and this is where I immediately kind of was just taken aback by your expertise in all of these different areas, because for me as an energy coach, you've got energy sound healing, you've got the water healing, and then you've got obviously the energy of the breath. There's just got this overarching power of actually the power that we have, it lives within us, it's not outside of us. And so I love the things that you've done to bring all of that together.
And that's really interesting that you say that, because the sound bath gives exactly the same benefits as what the breathing does. So the gong bath probably is a little bit of a one if you're feeling a little bit more lazy and can't be bothered to do the breathing, then go to a gong bath.
Well, having said that, and I just wanted to point out to people, because I think I've been to gong baths before and not really had a reaction, but I think I shared with you at the end of or during the gong bath that you gave, I was having real physical reactions, and a lot of emotion came up for me as you were playing the gongs and the singing bowls. It was really powerful.
It goes deep.
It's like all the way through, and I think it's interesting as well, because it's interesting to say with all of these different modalities, would you agree that it's then with it all being energy that we need to release it?
Definitely. It's just all stuck there, and we're not, it's just all subconscious, all these emotions, what we don't even realize we've got. And sometimes during the process of either the breathing or the sound baths, people just end up in floods of tears, and it's not like crying sometimes, it's just like a release. So the eyes just start watering, and they're just in floods of tears, and we're like, where did that come from? But we're just not aware of all of this trapped energy in the body. And obviously when we've got these blocks, these emotions what manifest as disease and illnesses.
I know we're both massive fans of Joe Dispenza, aren't we? Joe Dispenza, who talks about dis-ease in the cells being causing disease, and it makes complete sense. And I think, to your point, when a lot of people have this emotional reaction, we're taught to hold a cry in, or to go and hide and cry, like we should be embarrassed about it, when actually the reverse is true. Like, we're energetic beings, we're supposed to process energy in this way.
And especially more so with men, like men shouldn't cry and things, and it's just sad, really.
And that I think certainly, I mean, you mentioned Russell Brand before. He's doing amazing work, isn't he, with spreading the message of actually guys showing their vulnerability and expressing their emotions more, and that they don't have to be this stoic, I'm so strong that I don't cry. Like, it's bullshit at the end of the day. We're human beings, all of us, whether you're male or female. I mean, it's so true. And the other thing I just wanted to point out, because, and I often say, when we run in the sea and then we're coming out, there's so many of us that are laughing and whooping, and you're high on your own supply, isn't it? That we just get laughed. But it's either end of the spectrum, that allowing the darker energy, so the heavier energy, to be released out through tears, but then also the release of happy energy, the light anabolic energy. They're both releases, they're just either end.
Exactly.
So I'd love to have the beautiful people watching just know a little bit more about the actual power of the breath, because I know I learned so much from our last conversation, just some simple rudimentals around the power of the breath, just so people can maybe practice some of it at home, or just know some of the real benefits around it.
So I'll start by, if there was just one tip I have, it is to breathe through the nose, in and out through the nose. And so most people, when they're breathing, especially women, mainly women, when they're breathing, they tend to, when they inhale, the belly goes back. They suck the belly in and the chest comes out. That's the way we've been brought up to breathe. Girls, they should have like a slim, tucked in belly, chest out. So it's paradoxical breathing, and that's the way a lot of women end up breathing into adulthood as well. So I'd definitely start with the nose, and just putting your hand on your belly, like where your diaphragm is, just above your belly button, and just take an inhale through the nose and just feel as the belly expands, And you don't even need to take a big inhale. You know, it's not about over breathing, it's just about deep breathing. And if you just give that a go, just take a small inhale through the nose, you'll feel your belly as it expands, and then exhaling through the nose as well. And so some people like say, well, can you not just breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth? And obviously, yes, breathe any way you want, but the most optimal way is in and out through the nose, because when we breathe in through the nose, we've got this nitric oxide, and this causes vasodilation, which means the oxygen, which we've already got enough of in our blood, it opens these blood vessels, meaning the oxygen can get deep into the tissue when we're breathing through the nose. And it's also a natural filter, so perfect for keeping out bacteria, germs. And it also brings in some moisture into the body and warmth, so that the lungs are not, you know, too cold, which can be the cause of asthma. So mouth breathers, over breathing, normally people with asthma. And also breathing, when you breathe through the mouth, it even has an impact on the shape of your jaw. So children who tend to wear braces, for example, normally mouth breathers. If you snore, you're a mouth breather. If you wake up with a dry mouth, it's normally a telltale sign that you're a mouth breather. So that would be, you know, the number one thing I'd say, to start breathing through the nose. And you should also be breathing in a way that if anyone was looking at you, they wouldn't be able to tell that you're breathing. So you shouldn't even be able to see any movement if you look at someone. It's the quote where I always say by Patrick McCowan from The Oxygen Advantage is breathe light to breathe right. So it's just about, you know, not over breathing and just taking in just smaller amounts, but taking it deep. And you do that by breathing through the nose.
I love that. And it's a really easy way to breathe light to breathe right. It's such an easy way, and it's kind of reminds you, because I think often if we do take that deep breath, then we can almost kind of exaggerate it. But I know, and that's something I've learned very much from you, Hayley, about just being able to actually just not push it and just be natural.
Yeah, because when we're taking that deep inhale, that's speeding up the heart rate, and with the exhale, we're slowing down the heart rate. So if you want to bring more calmness and relaxation into your life, it's about focusing on the exhale. So really long exhales and just a small inhale. So the ideal breath would be something like 4 in and 6 out, with a small pause at the end of the exhale. So yeah, it's not about like taking really deep breaths in. It's more about the exhale.
Because I know before you mentioned that trips the parasympathetic nervous system. So especially when we're in fight or flight. And I actually use this quite a lot. If I can sense that I'm getting frustrated or angry, and I can feel that I'm in that space, then I will often take myself off and kind of, you know, use that in for 4, out for 6. But and because within minutes you're calm again.
Yep, and you know the breath, it's that's what gives us our emotions. We'll get a thought, something will happen in our head, and then our breath changes, and then as soon as we've changed our breath, that's when the emotions kick in. So a little thing to just try and observe and become conscious of your breathing more often. For example, when you're angry, how do you breathe? Just notice how you breathe and change it. If you feel like you're going to cry, like I know I've just said that you should allow yourself to cry, but if for whatever reason you wanted to stop yourself from crying, if you'd done a really deep belly breath, you'd find it difficult to cry, because if you just think of how your breath goes when you start to cry, it's like so
yeah, it's all breathy, isn't it? It's kind of all up here as opposed to deep in the belly, because we're kind of constricting.
So
so interesting.
And
it for people who, so you know, it's like those 2 gauges, isn't it? So it can have a very calming, natural, you know, deeper breathing, but very light, that's going to calm people down. And I know obviously on a Saturday morning we do energizing breathing, so I thought that would be fun to talk about that as well.
So that's more about the over breathing, and it's definitely not a breath that you'd want to be doing all day. It's just a once a day thing. So that's about bringing some good stress into the body. You're charging the body up with the breath. So really it's like quite fast breathing and really deep inhales, and then just letting it go with a sigh, so you're not forcing out any of the exhale. It's just like what comes natural. And yeah, so this is like a totally energizing one, and like I said, it's just one what you wouldn't want to be doing all the time.
Yeah, no, but it's, and I know I've shared with Hayley a couple of times that when we've done it on the Saturday morning, there's been points at which I feel like every cell in my body is kind of having a party.
That's exactly what it's doing.
It's an amazing feeling, and it just makes me think, like, why have I just like doing this now? Like, why did we not know about this before? But some of this stuff dates back to kind of ancient times, and
it's all from the yogic
practice.
Yeah. So it's flip-flopping between the two when we do that on the Saturday morning. You know, you're going into from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous. You just keep changing it. So you're changing the chemistry in the body. The CO2 and the O2 chemistry is all changing. We'll do breath holds, and we can hold the breath for longer because we're getting rid of so much CO2, because it's not the lack of oxygen what gives us the need to breathe. It's the buildup of CO2 that our body can't tolerate. But we actually do need more CO2 in the body. For all it's known as a waste gas, it's actually we need it for the oxygen to get deep into the tissue.
It's like anything, and I know I talk a lot about and it's back, I suppose, to a little bit of yogic kind of thinking, which is the yin and yang. It's the light and dark. It's both are needed, and so there's no such thing as like waste in that respect. But there isn't in emotions as well. Like to your point, we often label it as being, oh well, I speak to people a lot, through coaching, who kind of say, oh, I just want to be happy. But it's like, well, it's part of life to be sad, and we wouldn't ever feel happy if we didn't feel sad. Like, you need that balance, don't you?
Exactly, yeah.
And the same does apply into breathing. I mean, it's just, it's nature, it's the way that we're built. But I think I don't know, I blame a little bit of kind of this always aim to be happy kind of marketing mass media out there, that are downplaying actually some of these darker emotions that actually are just as powerful, if not more so. So there's some power in there for sure. So if people were wanting to experiment with the breath, I know you said that obviously in for 4, out for 6 is a really good standard. Is there anything else or any resources that you think would be useful if people wanted to read into this more, find out more?
Obviously I'd recommend the Wim Hof method. There's a really good book called, I cannot think of it. It's by Dan Browley.
We can put the link in.
We will. Sorry.
But Dan,
yeah. And Wim Hof's actually got a new book coming out as well in September, so I'm looking forward to that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And the Buteyko effect, the Buteyko method, I'd look into that as well. That's really good. So it looks like they contradict each other, the Wim Hof method and Buteyko. It's also the oxygen advantage. It's the same person who developed it. So they do look like they contradict each other, but like I said, the Wim Hof method breathing technique is one that you do once a day, and the Buteyko is something that you should be doing like all day, every day, the rest of the day. So it's definitely worth a look into.
Oh, great. Fantastic. And there was something else that Hayley's very kindly put together, and I'm going to share it in the comments after this. She's put together an amazing Spotify playlist for breathing, because this is, I've just said, obviously Hayley's multi-talented. The music that she guides our meditations and our breathing through is amazing. And so she's really kindly put together some tracks. So I'm going to share that with you guys too. So if you want to maybe utilize that too.
And I am going to this has been on my to-do list for like quite a few weeks, but I am going to do this some guided breathing recordings.
Great. Yes.
So that is I've got all the gear to do it, so I just need to get it done.
Right. Well, she said it now, people. It's happening. hold you accountable now, Hayley, because I want one. So no, but thank you for putting that together. Do you want to just mention some of the tracks that you've put on there?
Well, I mean,
a blend.
Yeah, it was just I always start the class with like just a body scan, just to get people relaxed before they go into it, because it is quite intense, and the more relaxed you are, the more you can hold the breath as well. So it always starts with like chilled, and then the beat, builds up. I think the ones I've put on there, they're like 15-minute long, the music, so it's quite nice if you just want to, just keep it at the same pace. And then it always ends with something soft and relaxing as well, just to bring you back down to earth afterwards, ground you back.
No, it's brilliant. It is fantastic. And I know it's that power of just, again, the music with the breathing as well, is just, the combination is just really quite powerful. So definitely check that out. And before we kind of wrap up, and obviously we're going to talk as well about where people can come and join you, and I can add those links in. So if anyone who's watching is interested to sample some of what Hayley does, then you've got a few different workshops, don't you? In fact, as I'm mentioning it, let's say it now, and I'll divert to the next thing I was going to ask you at the end.
All right. So I've got Thursday evening at 8 o'clock. It's a guided breathing journey, so it's a little bit more relaxing than the Saturday morning. So it's to help with sleep. And the Saturday morning, which is at 10 a.m, is a bit more upbeat. So the more dancey tunes to get us in the weekend vibes. But even the Thursday night one, because there is some people dial in from America, just all over, and you get out of it whatever you need. So just because it's at night time and it's a bit more of a wind down version doesn't mean you're going to be ready for bed afterwards, because you can feel energized after it as well. You just get from it whatever you need.
Yeah, no, I can definitely attest to that. I'm ready to go on a Saturday morning. It sets me up right.
Yeah,
so, for sure.
And then I'm just doing some workshops on the beach, which is just again a guided breathing, a little bit of the science behind the breathing, and an optional dip in the sea to learn about the cold benefits as well.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful blend to actually kind of do the breath work and then actually go in together. And then obviously I know we do some warming up afterwards, which is the kind of Wim Hof stance. I won't stand up and demonstrate it at this moment. But no, it's a great combination. And that's what's been super great as well. And I suppose that's what I wanted to touch upon about the cold water, because I just thought it would be really interesting for you to share just some of the benefits. Because I think when most of us say, "Oh, come in the sea," you get this like panicked look on people's faces going, "What?"
Yeah, they tell you where to go. Till they try it. So the benefits, there's like loads of benefits to cold water, but what the main ones is it's a full cardiovascular workout. So to anyone who is like me and hates going to gyms, it's perfect. You literally go in the water for a few minutes and there you've had a full cardiovascular workout. It's energizing. It's really good for the skin. It builds brown fat, and brown fat is what Wim Hof has a load of. That's why you can stay in ice baths for like up to 2 hours. So the brown fat, it creates heat by burning the white fat. So it's and it speeds up our metabolism by going in the cold water. And also for the mental perspective of it, the mind, you go into that cold, everything else just switches off. There's like nothing else you think of, you're not starting to think of what am I going to have for tea when you're in that cold water. All you're thinking about is it's cold. And people ask, like, is it easy for you? And like, after doing it all these years, and it's not. It's every time it's a challenge, and that's what makes it, because the more times you override that fear of whatever your fear is, you're taking control, and you're overriding that fight or flight response. And the more times you do that, the more times you can override it in other areas, other stressful areas. like this tonight, coming on Facebook Live. I've had to do that cold water thing, just go through it.
Well, no, but I love that, Hayley, because I think for a lot of us, we've all got different fears or different apprehensions about stuff. But I think, you know, and I see it with, I mean, the fantastic stuff that you've been doing to encourage people to just try it. And I think that's what one gift, can I say, that's come out of COVID, is that people are just a lot more willing to try different things and to get out their comfort zone, right?
And I always say, like, if you can't face the cold, then what can you face? You know, if you run away from a bit of cold, then, you know, you run away from most little challenges in life.
Well, no, it is. And I think, to your point, and I remember reading, you know, I think that the chemical reaction that happens, because I think your body goes into shock and it recruits and starts generating lots more cells, doesn't it? Because it feels like your body's under attack.
Yeah.
So by that, just sense, that's almost this elation that you just feel truly alive. And we can sit there and be all animated like I'm being now, because I can't not talk with my hands and things, but that's why I cannot say enough of why I really wanted to have Hayley on tonight for my Tuesday Live, because I've witnessed people just have some amazing results, you know, from doing these types of things. And the very fact that it's in nature, it's together with people at distance, but it's a gift.
And it's all free.
All free, exactly. So why the hell not try? I mean, it's a no-brainer, I think. So whoever is watching, I double dog dare you, find some cold water, and that includes it just in the shower, right? You said like 30 seconds.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be the sea. Just end your normal warm shower with a blast of 20 to 30 seconds cold, just from like your neck down. And just build that up every week. You know, it's about gradual cold exposure. It's not about jumping straight into an ice bath or jumping straight in the sea for 20 minutes. It's just about building it up gradually. And then, you know, you build up your tolerance to it and how long you can withstand it.
No, I love that. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'd love for anyone who's watching to share. And if anyone's got any further questions, where can they come and reach you, Hayley? Where can they come and find you?
All right, so if they go on the website at exhale.com, all my social media links are in there, and including the email address. So yeah, that's pretty much all the information they need, because they'll find every way to reach out to us in there.
Yeah, and we'll put all the links in the comments as well. And then, Hayley, you do a fantastic thing where if anyone wants to sample one of Hayley's classes, she can give you a code to try the first one for free.
Yeah, if you sign up to the newsletter on the website, they get free access to a Kundalini class and a breathwork class, and that's included breathwork on the beach this Friday. So yeah, that's there's a code if anyone wants to try that for free as well.
Yeah, fantastic.
Anyone local, obviously.
Well, yes, anyone that wants to hop over the pond, for anybody watching the US. I'll just check a couple of the comments. If anyone has any questions for Hayley, I'm sure she wouldn't mind answering them. Oh, hey, Maddie. So much harder to do in the shower, I think, more than the sea. Yeah, I must.
Yes,
it is. It's that thing of running into the sea. Like, you can't, especially if it's wavy.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the moving water of the shower, but I find it much of a harder challenge than going in the sea.
Yeah. Oh, Lou's joined us. Hey, Lou Ma. She avid sea swimmer.
Hi, Lou.
So fantastic. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Carol's got a question. What if you don't feel like you don't get a full breath from the nose alone? That's what Carol's asking.
All right. So unless you've got anything, obstructing your nose breathing, or if you've got like, a cold and that's preventing you from breathing through the nose, then, it's about practicing it. And because if you're normally a mouth breather, then obviously you can take a lot more oxygen in through the mouth, and so you will feel this air hunger by starting to breathe through the nose. So it's about just becoming aware of that you've got that air hunger and just playing about with it, and keep switching to the mouth if you're a mouth breather, And then just as often as you can throughout the day, start switching to the nose and just gradually build it up, and you will get used to it. Because it's a common question. People say, I feel as if I'm not getting enough air in by breathing through the nose, and you actually are. You just don't need massive amount of oxygen on the inhale, because as I said, we've already got enough oxygen saturation anyway.
Yeah, no, you've definitely made me think, Hayley, because when I was very young, I had loads of problems with my sinuses. So I had eczema, asthma, and hay fever. So it was just, wasn't good.
Yeah.
And I breathed through my mouth for like lots of years, actually. And so I've had to very much practice nasal breathing. And so I actually feel like really fully blessed that I can now breathe through my nose, because for a lot of years I couldn't.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, we've got more questions. Maddie, how long is too long to stay in the cold water? Good question, Maddie.
All right. So if you're new to it, I would definitely suggest for a shower like 30 seconds and no more. Because if you go in for too long, you're going to get out and you might feel fine at first, but then the after drop kicks in. So that's when the cold blood from the extremities starts to mix with the core. And so you'll start to shiver. That's your body's natural way to warm back up, so it's a good sign that you're shivering, but it generally means that you've overdone the cold if you get out and you shiver. So I would definitely start with, I've got a PDF document where I've got some guidance on how to build it up. So I'm happy to share that as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, we can share that in the comments as well and post it on the wall. So thank you, Maddie, for that question. Yeah, it is. It's that thing, isn't it? With all of these things, like anything, I guess, it's a skill to practice, isn't it? To be able to
practice makes progress.
Oh yes. Yeah. practice. It's true. And it's one that I think with all of this, it's mastery, isn't it? Where it's ever evolving and there's no infinite like destination place to get to. It's just progressing, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just checking, Maddie, once my skin is numb, I forget that I should get out.
That's hardcore.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. Whitley Bay hardcore right there. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for everybody who's popped on to say hello. Like I say, I'll be sharing Hayley's web address and the ways in which you can contact her. But I cannot recommend working with Hayley enough. If you really want to find out more about the breath, you want to find out more about Wim Hof method that she does, because you have a little ice tub, don't you, that you travel around with and get people to leap in.
Yeah. Yeah, so if anyone fancies an ice bath, just let us know. Ice bath party.
Ice bath party. I mean, I'm up for that, because I actually haven't done the whole ice thing.
Yeah.
So, I've gone pretty close, but
that's another thing that's easier than the cold showers, actually, the ice bath. And you only need to go in once a week for 2 minutes to get the benefits. Full benefits last a week.
Oh, see, you heard it there first, people. Right, let's all sign up. When's the next one? Do you have any planned?
No, because it's a bit awkward at the minute with COVID and people sharing the ice bath. That's why I'm having to do them in the sea. So at the minute, I'm only doing private ice baths. So people who's happy to do it with people in their bubble, in their garden or wherever.
Yeah. Oh, let's create a bubble, people. Let's create a bubble and let's do it. I'm excited. Fantastic. So just for my own nosiness, obviously because the seawater that we go into, what temperature is that roughly?
At the minute it's about 12 degrees.
About 12 degrees, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And when obviously with the ice bath, does that drop to actual freezing or
just... zero?
Zero, right.
So when I do the workshops, I allow participants to stay in for up to 2 minutes and no longer. And as a rule of thumb for the sea, they say that you can stay in the sea for 1 minute per degree Celsius.
That's a good guide.
Like if you're new to it,
if you're new, just to build up your resilience to it. Oh, fantastic. Just checking any of the comments. Carol said, can you go in 10 seconds at a time?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
You can, you basically, the thing is, Carol, you've just got to start, love. All right, you've just got to start.
Always end with cold. You can switch it back on to warm but make sure you end with cold if you want to get the benefits.
Yeah. Why is that then?
Because when you go in the shower, if you know, it's taken away the whole purpose of it. If you're gonna, you know, finish with the warm, you're not going to get those benefits. So if you get out of it with the cold, then you're gonna feel those benefits. You'll feel energized, and just all the good feelings what come with it.
Makes sense.
So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Hayley. I've learned more every time. And so, like I say, if anyone has any questions for Hayley, I'll share her contact details. She is on Facebook and Instagram too, as well as having a fantastic newsletter. So, and as you can see, willing to answer questions and chat through. So thank you again, Hayley. And just thank you for like really celebrating and getting us all in the sea. You know, it's great what you're doing. And I think so many women I know have really appreciated it during lockdown, especially. So yes,
thank you. So that's another one. There's the sea tomorrow night for anyone who wants to join us. Ice women.
Yes, ice women, and on Sunday night as well.
Sunday night at 8 o'clock at Seaburn.
Yeah, avoid the jellyfish. We've had a few of those lately.
Yeah.
It's all part of it, though. It's all part of it. Well, I wish you all a fantastic rest of your week, full of choice. Do choose to add in a bit of cold water and a bit of breathing as well in that power of choice. You won't regret it. You know, this is your vehicle, right? And got to look after it as best you can. And some of these things that we're sharing, like we've said, they're free. So you've got nothing to lose by trying them. So cool. Well, thanks again. Thank you. I'll catch you guys next week on next week's Tuesday Live. Thanks again.
Thank you. Bye.